choose one. Hey, bring it back. Now double your money and make it stack. On to the next one. 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 Hold up. Somebody bring me back some money, please. Hey, hold on that news.
Someone bring back some money, please, to England. Let's get a colony that works. On to the next one.
Like the taste of fresh apples?
Now, if you look at what's going on here, England has absolutely no colonies in the New World at this time. Spain still has all of those colonies. South America, Central America, huge chunk of North America. Luckily for England, England defeats Spain in that war in 1588. They have long-range cannons. They defeat the Spanish Armada, so they are prime to get to the New World and conquer, if they can actually do it. Remember, they fail in Roanoke. Before we actually start, there is key vocabulary for today. So the term of the day is mercantilism. Mercantilism simply means, when a mother country like England conquers and colonizes a new territory far away, that colony has resources. That colony will bring back resources to the mother country, and that will help the economy of the mother country. Great example, Spain gets gold from South America, and that helps the economy. England will later get tobacco from Virginia. That will really benefit the English economy. Now, England has to establish some colonies, so Queen Elizabeth I unfortunately dies. Her successor is King James I. And King James I will establish Jamestown, named after King James. As you can see, there is a picture of Jamestown. King James I grants a charter to John Smith in 1607. The location of this new colony will be along the Chesapeake Bay. If you look, here is Jamestown Colony. It is just north of the Lost Colony, which is Roanoke. And if you've ever driven south through Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia, surely you have passed through the Chesapeake Bay. This is along the Chesapeake Bay there. We're going to go through a little bit of the early Jamestown Colony. There are going to be some problems. So you're going to want to write that where there are problems there. Firstly, when the men come to Jamestown, they're drinking unsanitary water. The area is filled with swamps, and they're going to get malaria. Now, this is not the kind of malaria that will kill you like in modern-day Africa, but it is nonetheless very sickly. So the malaria that they're getting stays in their system for roughly, up to 5 years. So these men, they get sick, then they recover. The malaria stays in their liver. Then they get sick again. And this is not just any kind of sick. This is fever, chills, diarrhea. When the men start to get sick with John Smith, they want to go home. He puts down his foot and says, no, we're not going home, because John Smith doesn't want to be that failure. He wants to get the glory of the first colony in the New World. He will get that glory. Most of the men, firstly, initially, it's only going to be men coming over to Jamestown. Later, there are some women who come over. They should have learned their lesson. Remember, if you need to have a permanent colony, you also need to bring along women. In addition to that, like Spain, who is coming over? It is lazy men. These guys are unsuccessful. In some cases, they're former criminals. In some cases, they're in debt. They are the lower end of society. They are the couch potatoes. For all intents and purposes, when they go to the New World, they're not going to want to dig for gold, because that involves intense labor. We got a clip here from Pocahontas.
To work. You men, get the ship unloaded. Right, you men build the fort. The rest of you, break out the shovels. It's time to start digging.
Digging?
Well, of course. Let's not forget what the Spanish found when they came to the New World. Gold.
That's right. You're going to have to dig to find gold. Guess what? There is no gold in Virginia. In addition to that, there are the same natives that the Roanoke colonists encountered. Now, if you recall looking at that timeline of violence, you know that the relations were not the best between the two. Powhatan, who is the chief of a group of native tribes, he's against colonization. He actually surrounds the Jamestown fort. He prevents any colonists from leaving. He refuses to trade with them. If anyone leaves, they are in danger of being killed. Powhatan actually takes responsibility for the death of Roanoke colonists. Now, whether that's true remains to be seen. There really is no evidence proving it to be correct. And then in 1609, the starving period hits. One of the worst winters hits in Virginia. And the population of Europeans, Englishmen, and women in Virginia goes down from 600 to approximately 50 colonists. They can't go out, they can't trade with the natives, they can't get any food. So they're stuck and they're starving. It is a huge problem for them, and 50 colonists is not a lot. They are in danger of dying and becoming the second lost colony to Roanoke. Lastly, there's no leadership. As I was saying earlier, John Smith is a pretty aggressive leader. When his men want to go back, he says absolutely not. And perhaps with the natives also, he puts a target on his back. John Smith is targeting what may be a terrorist attack, what may be a murder attempt in the New World. Gunpowder goes off, and he's badly burned, and there's not really the kind of medical care in the New World that you need. There's no real nurses or doctors. They're limited. They don't have facilities. So they try to rush him back as quickly as possible to Europe. This is still going to be a few weeks trip. But he's going to go back, and he's not coming back to Virginia. So he's done there. Don't confuse John Smith with the John Smith from Pocahontas. This is a very different John Smith. Okay, so that about saves it for early Jamestown. You're going to play the Zonal. Zonal's relatively short. If you're done early, you will look at other resources connected to early Jamestown that are listed below the video.